Are you in the market for an everyday watch but can't quite stretch to a Rolex Explorer or an Omega Aqua Terra? Are you looking for a watch brand with American roots, that's Swiss made, with a name that is known throughout the world? If so, then I think you should look no further than the Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. This watch is functional, understated, and beautifully elegant while staying simple, and I think it could be why I like this watch so much. Now, before we get into the watch, let's talk about Hamilton themselves, as their history is long, illustrious, and it does merit a deeper dive. The world-renowned Hamilton was founded in 1892 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hamilton originally focused on producing quality, accurate pocket watches. Now fast forward to 1912 and the early days of the American railroads. There was no common method of timing trains, so unfortunately accidents were frequent. But the precision of Hamilton pocket watches helped solve the problem, and the timepieces soon received the coveted title of the Watch of Railroad Accuracy. This, along with other accolades, made Hamilton the clear choice of supplier to the US Armed Forces in World War I, and as such, this prompted a shift in production from pocket watches to the more convenient wristwatch, a change that of course was here to stay. Since then, Hamilton have played major roles in US conflicts ever since. Now, it was during this time that Hamilton issued an aeronautical watch which accompanied the first US mail service between Washington DC and New York City. This started a tradition of Hamilton producing timepieces for the aviation community and is still a favourite for pirates today. Milestones in aviation continued in 1926 when Admiral Richard Byrd became the first aviator to reach the North Pole. It circulated for 13 minutes before returning to base. Now he timed his pioneering 15 hours and 57-minute flight with a Hamilton watch. In 1928, Hamilton produced specialist watches that were presented to New York Yankees, including the likes of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. In 1932, Hamilton made its first big screen debut, something which still happens today. The film originally was Shanghai Express, and the watches were a central point of the movie plot. Other films featuring Hamiltons are The Frogmen, Men in Black, Lethal Weapon 4, Independence Day, Die Hard, and of course Interstellar. During this time, the king of rock and roll, Elvis, wore a Hamilton Ventura, making that model explode in popularity. Finally, we end the story in 2003 when Hamilton was bought by the Swatch Group, where the brand has continued to flourish. From explorers to soldiers, pilots and Hollywood actors and directors, Hamilton has seen it all. Now, let's get back to the watch in question. The Hamilton Khaki Field Auto. It comes in either a 38 or a 42mm case diameter. Now I bought the 38mm, which at the time I have to say, I thought it was a mistake. But I shouldn't have worried about that at all, because spec wise, when you have a 38mm diameter, a 10mm thickness and a 20mm lug width, the watch wears pretty well. It comes on either a brown or black strap, and you can opt for a metal bracelet too. However, I bought the brown leather strap, but quickly took it off as I found it worked really well on a NATO or on a boon strap, and that is what I've been wearing it on ever since. In the back of this watch is an ETA movement. It's the H10 with 80 hours of power reserve. So not only is it pretty with an open case back, and it is a pretty thing, at least in my opinion, you can tell that they thought this watch through. This is an everyday watch. You take it off on a Friday, pop it back on a Monday, and it'll still be running. And you can wear it throughout the week. You can dress this watch up as a as an office watch, or you can dress it down with a NATO strap and have it as more of a field watch. It is really, really versatile in that aspect. The face of the watch is crisp and clear, with a black textured background, wonderful numerals, with a date wheel at the 3 o'clock mark. A minute track is on the outer ring, and I really like the simple hands with a flash of red on the second hand. Covering the watch is a sapphire crystal, no anti-reflective coating, but the crisp style and the way it plays with the light doesn't make it an issue at all. Another nice touch by Hamilton is the slightly domed effect on the sapphire. This wraps around the dial and adds a way that it can play with the natural light. Push-pull crown, and it does boast 100 meters of water resistance, which in my opinion makes it superior to the Khaki Field King. I'm always a little wary though of push-pull crowns, as I've said in the past, and 100 meters of water resistance. However, when a big hitter like Hamilton claims 100 meters of water resistance, I'm always more inclined to believe them. Now, this is how it looks on wrist, and as I said before, despite it being a 38mm watch, it really wears nicely. I'll show you a few straps now and you can see what I mean when I say this is really a strap monster. Now that we've got the fashion show out of the way, let's round this video off with my usual likes and dislikes. And as we always do, let's start off with the negatives first. So first of all, there's little to no reflective coating. Although I don't mind it, and I think it adds to the look of the watch, it will be a deal breaker for some, as is the lack of lume on the watch as well. Now again, it's not that much of a deal breaker for me because it's not a diver's watch. However, for many other people within the watch collecting community, if it's a sports watch, they always expect it to have decent lume on the dial. You've got to think about the money stretching so far, and I will get onto price in just a moment. Again, it's okay in my opinion, but just bear that in mind. Also, I don't like the fact that this watch is an obvious strap monster and it looks really well on a selection of straps, and it has a 20 and 22mm lug width. Dependent on your case size, you should be spoilt for choice. So adding drilled lugs or quick release straps would have been a really nice touch. Finally, my last little moan is to get back to the push-pull crown instead of the screw-down crown. You still have 100 meters of water resistance, but I always have a natural, I want to say I'm cautious, probably say cautious. I'm cautious of the fact that this is just push-pull, even if it is 100 meters of water resistance. So personally, I won't be getting it wet, and or I won't be unnecessarily getting it wet is probably a better use of that one. However, the positives, in my opinion, far outweigh the negatives. Firstly, this watch on the leather band retails for around £450 in the UK, with a stainless steel bracelet option of around £525. Now, I managed to get a deal on this watch for £372 from a UK online store called Dura Watches. I think they may also sell into Europe as well. Don't quote me on that. I will obviously leave some links in the description below and you can have a look for yourself. Just a reminder with these links, I'm not going to be leaving affiliate links in this watch review, and I'm not being reimbursed, sponsored or supported in any way by Hamilton or any of the ADs or grey market retailers that I may link to in the description below. So after the price, I love the clear design of the dial and the fact that it is an obvious strap monster, albeit despite the no quick release or drilled lugs. I also like the 100 meters of water resistance despite the push-pull crown, because it does mean that you can get this watch wet if you want to. And I also really love the fact that you can choose between a 42 and a 38mm case. It means that this watch is versatile for both smaller and larger wrists. Finally, I also love the ETA movement. You know this is going to have to be on the list. It's the H10 movement from ETA. It's got an 80-hour power reserve and it's from a brand as well known as Hamilton, that's part of a massive conglomerate of the Swatch group. And I think adding the ETA movement is a really good decision by Hamilton and Swatch. You can, as an amendment before I end this, you can get quartz movements on these Hamilton watches, on both this and the Hamilton Khaki King. But when the prices are so low from authorised retailers, in my opinion, I would always opt for the automatic ETA movement. Why not? It's a great movement and it has a lot of horological significance as well. So that's my opinion, but what do you guys think of the watch? And does it earn keep in your opinion? Or is the Khaki Hamilton King still the king of the field watch ranges in your opinion? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in a future video.